And we're live. Today we're joined by Owen from the Sei Foundation. He's the DeFi ecosystem, as well as GPT Josh or Zero X King Capital on
Thank you.
YouTube. And we're here to learn about Sei, what's going on in the ecosystem, and what can we look forward to. Owen, welcome. Could you please introduce yourself?
Of course, yeah. Thank you guys for having me. I been a long time follower of Dan and the show, so yeah, this is a good one. Yeah, a little bit on myself. I'll keep it brief of just what I do at Say, then can get into it a little bit more. I manage everything DeFi here at Say, primarily the DeFi ecosystem, and work with a team of four others on the DeFi eco. Have been in DeFi for forever. It's kind of what got me into crypto, and have been with Say for almost 2 years now. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So you mentioned you've been with Safe for 2 years now. I'm someone who was familiar with Safe from the early days, the pre-launch days. So it's cool to have a member of the team actually on right now. You know, a lot of people know me as an airdrop farmer, so I was there throughout the campaigns early on and everything like that. So I've been there for, you know, the hype, the highs, the lows. I really love Say as a blockchain and just the functionality and things that you can do on there. But for those out there who don't know what Say is, how would you answer the question, what is Say?
Yeah, Say is an high performant blockchain at its roots. Um, I know, Josh, you mentioned that you've been with Say since its early days. We started off using the Cosmos SDK, and we're really focused around being kind of like DeFi centric. And we'll get into some of the stuff that was built out then. But what we realized is that community asked for a lot more, and also a lot of our builders were asking for EVM support. And we kind of took on the vision of no one's really scaling the EVM to the point that we are. And this kind of leads us to present day of like our vision is to scale the EVM. And what Say is for, I guess, using examples to help with the relationship is it's kind of combining the best of Solana and Ethereum, right? A lot of the tooling that has been built out and the mind share that has been built around the EVM, we want to keep, but we definitely take a lot from what Solana has been doing and has been pioneering around high performant L1s, and we just felt like no one within the EVM space was doing this, and we've been live with our EVM side of Say for over a year, and since then, I think 98% of developers have been building on the EVM, and it's been one of the better switches that we've had since I've joined Say. Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask just a little sillier or fun question because there is a big Saiyan community on Sei. So, if Sei was a Dragon Ball Z character, who would it be compared to the other blockchains?
Oh boy.
Because you
We
already
like this
said it
one.
has a little bit of Solana, it has like the EVM essences, and it is high performance.
Yeah, I think a few folks would go a little bit different on this. Goku's a tough one to take because I think it is going
That's
to
a hot
be
take.
main,
All right, it's
very,
gonna be
very,
yeah.
very. It's very main. It's very main character
Yeah.
vibes. My favorite has always been Vegeta, and actually one of my internal PFP that I built out is
Okay.
Vegeta going like Super Saiyan, just because it's a little bit more. It's kind of an arc. It's kind of like we always had this like underdog mentality at Say. Always had to kind of like really earn our stripes, and I believe that what kind of makes us not quite Goku, but maybe some alt character that is always underdog, always has that underdog mentality, and always is looking to
Always
fight.
continues to work hard to improve.
Yeah.
I like that because
Good
Vegeta's
question,
always
though.
a step behind Goku, right? He's always a step behind Goku, and just I guess the rest of the ecosystem out there, the DeFi ecosystem, say being that underdog that has that same potential in him, but the world doesn't know yet, and it's still to prove themselves, sort of say Scrappy saying.
Yeah. One day
Cool.
we will surpass, but for now,
I like that.
underdog mentality. Yeah.
Underdog
you guys are
mentality.
gonna,
It's still in the
you guys are gonna keep
hyperbolic
working
time
it.
chamber. Still in the time chamber. All right. So all that being said, just to wind things back a little bit, your personal background, how did you personally get started in crypto?
Yeah, so I got started back in 2016 and not working within crypto. It was more I was in college at the time, and one of my roommates was looking to spin up like an ETH mining rig, and ended up doing so, and ended up actually getting kicked out of the dorm for doing so because he was using free power that was not his. And this was like this
I mean,
kind
I
of like
respect that move. I respect that move.
yeah,
Though.
yeah.
Me too.
A hustler, and he was one of those kids who was always like a little bit different, right? Like he was friends with everybody, but everyone knew like just it's a little bit different. And this is kind of what I got attracted to. It's just like crypto is not your normie, and this is kind of like something that I've always felt growing up. Is I always enjoyed finance and kind of like being my own financial manager, but like I never really vibed too much with like the finance bro, and I more vibed with Christian, who was building out the ETH mining rig within our dorm. Um, and this is kind of what led to my path of then buying and selling assets, and then getting into a full-time gig. Once I moved to New York here, I helped Chainlink manage a few events here in the city, then joined Foam, which is a DPIN project, doing proof of location stuff, and helped them set up radio towers on New York City rooftops. And then from there, I joined Delphi Digital on the ventures team, and was really under Avi. Shout out Avi, who taught me a bunch. And he was deeply looking into ZK at the time, and it kind of what kickstarted how I've created like my research focus. It's kind of a testament to him, and at the same time was really helping with like DeFi, and was pulling DeFi data from Dune, and what got me to learn Dune, what got me to be an on-chain sleuth. And at that period, I loved venture, but I do think that I have I've got an interesting take on it, but I think not too PC, so we'll leave it for another day. We'll leave it for
Okay.
a bar somewhere. But
Yeah.
Delphi had invested in Sei, and I talked with a few folks internally. Sei had an opportunity, and just wanted to get my feet wet, wanted to get in the trenches, really jived with the approach that Sei was going with, and the rest is history.
Amazing. Yeah, you got in at Sei just right when they started, so that connection really helped establish your role at Sei. Now, you mentioned working on rooftops in New York, setting up antennas. What was that situation like?
Sounds like DPIN or something.
Yeah.
It's full deep in. Foam had raised like an ICO back in 2018, so OGs in the space, and Ryan and the team were really trying to do something that I felt was going to be huge in the space, but we'll get into that later. Building on top of rooftops is an interesting one, especially in New York. What you quickly learn
permission?
is that
or did you just guys kind of do it?
There's a few times where I just walked to the top of a rooftop and scouted it out and saw if we could actually set anything up. Because if you think about like
Spider-Man.
helium, yeah, exactly. Dude. Spider-Man of DeFi or DePIN. Yeah, the thing is that like helium, it's very easy just to like plug it in and like have it sit on your desk and run. But with foam, what you needed is like unobstructed vision to all of the cell towers that you had set up. Um, and once you created kind of like a box rectangle, 4 points that they could all talk to, you could then set up a bunch of other ones that you could ping that could be like a triangle. And that is kind of then when the flywheel would take off. But the hardest thing was establishing 4 unobstructed points on rooftops, because what you quickly learn is that Verizon, AT&T, Con Edison's of the world are all paying millions of dollars to be on top of rooftops to get the best cell data to New Yorkers. So you realize that they're asking a lot of money, and it really took working with people who just kind of believed in new innovation tech, went to new buildings that were being built, and that was the end. And then some Spider-Man shit, but yeah, it was a fun time. It was definitely a fun time.
Yeah, I could
Now-
definitely see some challenges in that.
Yeah.
100%. Speaking of challenges, now see, you mentioned that you were originally in venture, then you went deeper into the trenches working for an entire blockchain, a protocol in Sei. Now throughout that whole, and then now you're mentioning, doing the Spider-Man of DeFi. So a lot of different things that you've done. Overall, what would you say has been the biggest challenge in your role right now?
It's a good question. I believe it's trust, and trust is earned over time. And the people that back you early on are the ones that you have to give your flowers to.
That's right.
It kind of getting a little bit into it, like the people who when Sei launched came and built on Sei, those are the people who like need the flowers and are still here. Yeah, that is the biggest thing is trust, because there's how many L1s now? 100 plus L1s, 200 plus L2s, 300 plus L3s. Like it's just
If not
there's
more,
so many
yeah.
options. There's so many so many more. There's so many options for people to build on, and what you have to have is great tech, which I believe the Sei Labs team has done, and you have to have very personal people, and you have to gain trust within builders that this is the place to innovate.
Nice, because as we know, community is such a big thing in crypto, and trust is a huge factor in that whole community building aspect, right? And even network building aspect. So, great answer there. Great answer there. Now,
And
overall,
I just wanted to hop in there. There's a bunch of challenges, as you mentioned. There's so many different types of blockchains. There's so many competitors, and just building up that community, building up the ecosystem, making it easy for communities to get started and developers to enter. Say, would probably be. Is that the bulk of your role as ecosystem growth lead, eco lead? I'm sorry, I forgot the exact wording of your title.
DeFi eco lead.
Yeah. It is like definitely when talking with builders, you have to gain the sense of trust in the sense that this is the best place for them to build their application. But there's a community team at Sei that I think doesn't get enough respect. The day in and day out are just in the trenches more than I think anybody. So yeah, shout out Phil K, Augustine, Emil, and plenty of others that I'm forgetting. But yeah, they do a tremendous job building out the grassroots community that is needed to then have all applications built on top of Sei flourish.
Absolutely, because builders want to build where there is that active community. Otherwise, they're kind of just there for like the incentives, and they might not be there after that. So, Speaking of that, I'm sure there's been a lot of scams because you're dealing with these new projects, these new people who don't have that experience, and I'm sure you've seen quite a few different scams in many different forms. Are there any you can share that were like the most interesting or the weirdest?
Um, I just think anytime that you are a new L1, um, people are always looking for anytime you're new L1 that does not have base primitives implemented. Let's just use like a Uni v2 fork, right? You're always going to have people asking to build it because it's very easy to fork and get a grant for. And I think a lot of the times your DMs fill up with these kind of long Telegram messages that are just, hey, I promise this, I can do that. I need X $100,000 or X $1 million, and it's just sometimes, yeah. I think people are a little bit jaded. I understand it's a permissionless space, but yeah, anytime you are a new chain, up and coming chain, people are going to be looking to extract money from it, and it's just part of the deal. And that's where you have to gain trust with these people, that they are here for the right reasons. Just a quick example, I think anyone who comes to Say and wants to just build, and that is their only motive is to build. Yes, maybe they want to raise venture funding, which I'm more than happy to help with, but their main priority is building a really good product. They're going to receive the most support. You see people like Hyperliquid, and their team just went to Arbitrum because it was a fast, cheap EVM chain, and that's why they built
Hold
there.
on.
There's like not a lot of support that built from the Arbitrum Foundation or Off-Chain Labs. Like it was just Jeff and team said, this is the best place to build. I'm going to build there. And now look at them. It's $40 billion protocol and has flipped Arbitrum. But it was just it's back to you provide a solution and a platform where someone can build a huge application and now chain in Hyperliquid's case. But yeah.
Well said. Well said. Now you mentioned all these different apps coming to you when you're a new blockchain, trying to extract, trying to get grants, trying to get raises. Some of them maybe not the most genuine. Some of them really genuine builders. That being said, what app would you say has brought in the most community members and just up that community atmosphere over at Say? If you can choose one cornerstone or maybe two or three cornerstone apps that really brought the community together or brought in new users to Say,
Yeah, I
if you don't
think,
mind.
yeah. Going back to Sayans, we early on had a team that launched an NFT project called Sayans, and there was this kind of like NFT boom on Say, and that brought in a lot of kind of like crypto natives, community members, because NFTs bring community. And I'm not like, I'll be very honest, I'm not deeply entrenched in NFTs or kind of, that's not my bread and butter, but I know what they bring, and they do bring a sense of community. And I think that was really important for us as we started. So shout out all the NFT projects that were there from day one, actually. And then building on top of that within DeFi, I think you had Dragon Swap, which was one of the early dexes. You had Jellyverse with a great brand, established community. You had Yay Finance, which is one of the largest DeFi protocols, I believe the largest DeFi protocol on Say right now. And they just did a great job. Again, like not asking for too much, just going out and getting it. And when they do this, people are more willing to get behind grassroots teams.
Excellent. So yeah, that's the essence of a great community building team on Sei or any blockchain. You're looking for builders that just want to build a good product, that aren't in it for all the incentives, and then that's who's going to get the most support.
Yeah, it's just like it's difficult to put it in like the best way possible, but it's kind of like a game respect game. If you've got game and you're willing to put in the work, like there's just no reason why you shouldn't have the utmost support.
Makes sense. Now, you've been at Sei for 2 years, pretty much when they started. How much has it changed from the beginning to where it's at now?
Yeah, it's changed quite a bit. Early on, again, like I mentioned, we had a lot of the DeFi roots within Sei is kind of built as a DeFi chain, and migrated then to a general purpose chain because again, folks like the NFT community were thriving, and there was no reason to kind of throw a damp towel on this community. The gaming community came in and wanted to thrive on this high performant application layer. And why throw a damp towel on it? And then DeFi, just going back to our roots, as a high performant EVM chain and just chain in general, it's the perfect place to build. In terms of team, I think the team has grown a tremendous amount. I've grown a tremendous amount since joining Sei in the early days. So it's really cool to see the growth. And when you look back on it, it really is a brick by brick approach. Some days you're like, well, the needle isn't moving, but then looking back on it now, the needle has moved a tremendous amount. And yeah, couldn't be more proud of the team that I work with.
Nice, nice. Now you mentioned a lot about how Sei is a high performance L1, high performance chain. Would you say there's any sort of sector that it's specialized for or catered to, or you would say this is the best thing that Sei can do, whether it's like RWAs, whether it's perp trading, or just a little bit more just general? Would you say there's like something that Sei specializes in per se?
Yeah, I'll actually go one route first. I think it has some pretty cool consumer apps that are building on Sei right now. Overheard being one of them. It's an anonymous social app, and if you ever were familiar with Yik Yak back in your college days, where you could post anonymous messages to a Twitter-like feed, this is there are roots from Yik Yak that have been built at Overheard. There's people from Yik Yak that have helped this Overheard product, and Yik Yak was a platform that I think had 2 million users daily at its peak, and Overheard is establishing this with all transactions being on chain on Sei, and this shows the scale that Sei can kind of offer. Is like a Twitter-like app on chain. The other one is Picasso Markets. I think this is going to be the one that people really start to pay attention to, and it's kind of that fun game for people to play, and also monetary benefits within Picasso as well. It's a prediction style game where you are drawing a chart, and then whoever has the closest chart at the end of the day is getting the prize pool, the pot of money that is there. So another consumer game. Outside of that, I think DeFi in general, like we've all operated on ETH or L2s or within Solana, and just this snappy experience, this ability to execute trades extremely quick, get pricing that is there, is needed. So DeFi, I think through and through, that's in our roots, is there. And then I have to shout out the gaming community as well. It's been one of the largest growing communities on Sei, and I think we have a very good strategy for growing it. And games need low latency, high throughput.
Any games you can shut out?
Um,
Oh, it's too dangerous. You're picking a baby.
no, yeah, Kawaii Hot Spring. I'm a big like mobile guy. I'm an Apple Maxi. If I can download your app within the App Store, like I'm gonna play it. So yeah, Kawaii Hot Spring is cool. I think there's a few others, Impossible Dash and Archer Hunter, that are cool. We have an eco page that I can probably send you, Dan, as well. And I think for people just to go explore it and find their game is also a possibility. I can send that along. But those are probably the three that play the most.
Okay, well, we'll have to check
Very
those
dope.
out.
Making notes of that.
Yeah. So there are a lot of different apps and applications being built on Sei. Which ones do you think are contributing most to the growth and bringing users from like other chains over to Sei?
Yeah. So I'll go off gaming. I don't even think that we're extracting users from other chains. I think we're extracting users from the Web2 cohort.
I like that.
So yeah, I think there's a good market there that we want to tap into. And like I said, the strategy that Jason and Choco, who lead gaming, it's on. To me, it's unmatched. Maybe someone else is doing it, but it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I'd say that.
Amazing. Now, pretty much, I love how you said you're not extracting from other chains. You're onboarding people from Web 2 to Web 3. That's huge. Now, what would you say is the number one game plan for doing this, getting more people and more developers to just pretty much use Sei?
Yeah, some of it is the abstraction that we can offer. Like I said, you play in this huge arena that is thousands of L1s, L2s, and at the end of the day, it's like you just have to provide a really good experience for somebody. And if you can do this, like they will drink your Kool-Aid and they will enjoy it. So that's where we pride ourselves is the abstraction part and the ease of coming into Sei and starting to build. This is one of the big things that the EVM has unlocked for us. If you have any application within the EVM, which most of the developer mindshare is, you can take your application that is maybe gaming, maybe it is DeFi, maybe it is consumer, and you can directly tap into 400 millisecond block times, 10K plus TPS, and fractions of a penny transaction costs, and also a very decentralized chain itself. So I think with all of that, it kind of is the benefit that builders want to see.
I like that. So mainly focused on UX. Users come first. User experience comes first. Build it, they will come, and they will drink your Kool-Aid. I like how you mentioned that. That's one thing me and Dan talk a lot about is drinking the Kool-Aid in crypto. When to do it and when not to do it. So that's a great answer there. Appreciate that. Dan.
Now, we talked about where Sei has been, and where Sei is now. Can we talk about the future of Sei? Like, what can people expect to see from Sei in the next year, in the next few years? Like, what are you guys building towards?
Yeah, I think there's like a few short, medium, long-term goals. Short is getting more builders to drink the Kool-Aid. Yeah, getting them to understand, getting them to trust us. Like I went back to that Sei is the best place to build. And one of those applications and one of the ideas that we've seen play out really well in the Web 2 space that plays into our medium-term vision is you look at companies like Apple, Google, Microsoft, and they have a suite of products that are labeled as theirs, right? You have the Microsoft suite, you have the Google suite. I'm on Google Chrome now. I use Gmail, I use Google Drive. These are all products that are built out by Google. You have Apple. Apple comes pre-installed with a bunch of applications that Apple believes is the best user experience for you. And then you can download other applications that builders build, right? And those applications sometimes are more successful than Apple's, right? People use WhatsApp more than iMessage outside of the US. People use Telegram more than iMessage within crypto. So there's applications that are needed. And that's where I think when we look at Sei, and the Sei Labs team has been working hard at this, is building some applications that we know that are needed within Sei, and how we can kind of build out the product suite within Sei. So the first one that is being built out is kind of going back to our DeFi roots, and it's Monaco, the Sei Labs team, and also Praj, who has been tremendous in building this out. Building the liquidity layer for all DeFi applications. It's a central limit order book that any trading prediction market, maybe even some gaming in the future, anything that uses an order book can plug into and doesn't need to go out and spend on trying to acquire liquidity. They can just tap into this very robust, deep liquid order book and get rolling and start working on kind of like what makes their beer taste better and acquire more users, show the nice front end that they can have, add in alternative little advancements to Monaco. So that's going to be our first one. And then Cody, who leads up our incubations team, is cooking on a few others to try and build out this Sei suite of products.
Now, you also
Amazing.
mentioned that you guys are in New York and you're helping teams on Sei start building. So are we going to see more of that, where there's a hands-on approach of like bringing on teams, getting them into the ecosystem, and providing that support?
Totally. If it was up to me, every team would live in New York, and it'd be great to have like a full building dedicated just to Sei builders. They could all stay there. We could all stay there. It'd be like a campus of where it could all happen.
That'd be fire.
Yeah, day in and day out. Maybe Praxis will be that. We'll see.
We've been following
Oh,
Praxis.
we've been
You guys,
talking
I
about
didn't know
that. Maybe
Praxis was on
Praxis will do
Sei.
that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Praxis
it's on-
is not on Sei, but I will say I am a member.
Oh, you said-
member of
you got his
Praxis, so-
citizenship.
Yeah.
okay,
got your
we're gonna have to talk to
citizenship.
you about that later. Yeah.
We're gonna have to talk to you about that. We're gonna have to talk to you about that for sure. Okay, so now that in mind, let's say I was a brand new builder on Sei. What would your advice to me be to get started in the ecosystem and to hopefully get some support from you guys? What would that look like?
Yeah, I think it's show that you are aligned with Sei. I think it's a very broad word, but show that you want to build here. And if you're exploring Sei, if you're Sei curious, we call it, then I'm happy to like walk those people through what can be offered at Sei. And for some people, like it just isn't the right fit, but we believe that if we do walk people through the entire ecosystem, I get them in touch with our community team, our marketing team, and even our founders are always willing to talk with these teams as well. Like, give them a sense of inclusion. I do believe that is what will bring builders to Sei and what has been successful thus far.
Amazing. Well said. I love that practice nation thing. That hasn't been off my mind. Like I could just see builders coming together
Yeah.
and doing things there. Meet me in practice. You know what time it is. Like it's crypto creators and builders coming together to do things like that. So that's really, really dope. Makes me want to get that card. I never seen that card though. I'm jealous now. I need that citizenship
We'll
card.
get you. We'll get you. We'll get you one. I don't know if I'm the right guy for it, but I'll help you. We'll get you one. The one thing I will say on this is, since opening up Sei HQ, it's been one of the, I think the best things that we've done, because it is building like the true sense of community. Yes, online is great, but like I said, day in and day out, it's just builders that are flying through on their way to San Francisco, stop into the office and say hi and jam with us.
That's dope.
People that live within New York that don't even aren't even ecosystem teams, just stopping in to hang out and build out their own products. Like it's very it makes you want to come into work every day, because there's so many people trying to build like this shared vision.
Amazing. Now, has that been a cause of the more crypto positive legislation where New York is like more available to crypto builders?
Yeah, this is actually a great point. The main reason that Sei HQ opened up was because we saw the writing on the wall that crypto in America is going to be more inclusive, and we wanted to be one of the main leaders in establishing this. So that's back in right when we were getting the office, right in March, we set up Sei Development Foundation, which is a nonprofit entity headquartered here in New York. We've planted our flag here. It's a great point, and something that we really want to get behind and be the leader in. And if you guys haven't checked it out, there is a Crypto in America podcast that is powered by Sei. Sei is the main leader. We have Gerald, who is GC at Sei Labs, leads this. Eleanor, as well as just great guests that have been on there. We've had Hester Pierce, Vlad Tenev from Robinhood, just talking about like what crypto legislation in the U.S. looks like and the expansion of crypto. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. You got Scaramucci. You got all the heavy hitters.
Yeah. Got the big dogs in.
Yeah.
I got the big dogs in house. Dope. Now, I did have a quick question, a little bit, I guess, not unrelated. Now, whenever I hear about Sei Network, usually you see a term called parallelization. It's hard to pronounce.
I know, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Can you say it actually?
Parallelized EVM. You just like jumble up all the L's and just like kind of
it's like a tongue twister.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time, whenever you hear you see parallelized EVM layer 1, how does this benefit builders? And to those out there who don't know what that means, can you quickly explain it?
Yeah, this is like a great point. And all systems within Web 2 are parallelized. You can see the founder of Epic Games talk about this, and this is the way that transactions should be processed. And the easy way, I'll try and make it an easy way to understand, is that within Ethereum, there is one cash register that everyone cashes out with. And let's just say that cash register is for all food items within a grocery store. When you parallelize transactions, you are essentially setting up multiple cash registers, one for apples, one for coffee, one for meat, that says, okay, if I'm buying meat, do not need to interfere with someone buying apples. And what happens here is the line does not get longer, right? If everyone is going to the same cash register, the line is going to be very long, and people are going to pay to jump the line, right? It's going to increase transaction costs, right? I'm going to pay to jump the line.
Gas war.
And if you're at the end of the line, you're never going to be able to get to the front because people are just always going to be paying for this until no one is operating on Ethereum or no one's operating within this supermarket, and you can just get to the front of the line. You can cash out. So hopefully I maybe did a good job at describing this. If I bring it back for some of the crypto native folks, it is, if you are swapping from USDC to Sei, and Dan is buying an NFT, we should not wait in the same line to do this. I can do this in parallel with Dan buying the NFT. Now, if Dan and I are both swapping USDC to Sei, at that point, we need to get in the same line, right? Whoever is there first is going to get their transaction processed first. But all other like alternative, actions can be parallelized. So hopefully I did okay walking through that. Yeah.
No, that was a great analogy, and that actually made me see it even more clearly than I've already previously understood it to be. Right, when there's one register, the line gets congested, right? And especially, I never thought of people paying more to jump the line, just like you see with gas wars, whether it's like an NFT mint or just somewhere that's really, really popular. Whether it's whatever, there's a lot of volume, for instance, and there's a gas war like you see on OG Ethereum. Parallelized EVMs make this a lot easier, and there's less congestion. So that made a lot of sense to me. Appreciate that.
Josh, you hit it. You just got to say it a few times. Parallelized.
Yeah.
It just
Parallelized. I got it down now.
Yeah. But
I
remember,
got it down.
Josh is a native English speaker. This must be way harder for like non-English speakers.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
You gotta have like an alternative word for parallelization.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
tough. We'll come up with it.
Yeah. So like let's jump into the not financial advice section of the conversation. If there's a disclaimer you'd like to provide, because I'd like to ask about any Sei alpha or airdrops or upcoming things that people might want to get involved with.
Ooh.
Yeah. I know at the onset we'll probably have it, but yeah, the views I'm expressing are those of my own, not those of my employer or any group I'm affiliated with. Nothing I say constitutes financial, legal, or tax advice here. With that being said, I think some of the stuff to come within Sei, or just like if you just go back to crypto itself, kind of like why people are within crypto, there is some large speculative nature to it, right? And people love to speculate, and that's what oftentimes drives a DeFi ecosystem, right? If you start with it, if traders come in and want to trade tokens because they see value in them or they want to speculate on them, that increases the revenue for projects that are building within that DeFi ecosystem, which makes more builders want to come in and capture revenue, right? They want to build a business, which then brings in more liquidity providers, because by providing liquidity, they are earning fees. And this is a nice flywheel that does start. So it's specific to DeFi. I think a lot of the teams within Sei DeFi are tokenless, and they have released their roadmaps to release tokens. So I think once these do come out, you will see more speculation, more people wanting to align with specific projects, more people want to invest in these projects, and that will start some trading activity that has not been seen before. And that will start to kind of kick off maybe what is the flywheel that I mentioned. I think that's a good way to put of what's to come within at least DeFi eco.
Now we mentioned
well worded.
I know we mentioned Overheard and Picasso Markets.
Absolutely.
Are there any other projects we can name? Like, hey, these are things that I think are interesting and maybe people should check out.
Yeah, I think in DeFi, lending rates are fragmented. So supply and borrow rates are fragmented across, gosh, again, this crazy number of 100 plus chains, right? If you supply USDC on Aave, you're going to get, call it 3%. And then to borrow against that USDC, if you're borrowing, let's just say, actually you deposit ETH, and ETH is 3%, and you borrow USDC at 4%, right? And then you go to another lending market, and those rates are completely different because maybe there's incentives involved, and maybe there's incentivized borrows, or who knows what it may be. But this team Clovis, who they're looking to normalize these rates. So they want to essentially provide the best supply rate for USDC. And these are just examples. And then the lowest borrow rate for USDC. And this is done by looking at all their chains and normalizing those rates. So
like a lending aggregator.
Like a lending, yeah, in a way, yeah. It's kind of coming down to like there's T-bill yield, this risk-free yield that is in TradFi that there's not a trillion different T-bill yields because there's a trillion different lending platforms. It's just normally one T-bill yield. And that, I think, is what's missing in crypto, and what people define kind of T-bill yield as in crypto is lending. And why are there all of these volatile lending rates? So anyway, this is what Clovis is looking to tackle. I think Monaco is the other one that I mentioned, this liquidity layer that's building a central limit order book. Picasso is definitely one to check out as well. I think there's a few AI companies as well. This new cool one called Cult World. You can build games within a ChatGPT style terminal, and then that game can be played by the thousands, the masses, and there will be some DeFi component to it as well. So yeah, plenty coming down the pipeline, and I apologize for any of the ones that I've not mentioned. But yeah, there's a good pipeline of them.
Dan, you're muted, by the way.
Oh.
Those are all the questions I have. Josh, do you have any other questions?
I think we covered a lot here. For those who don't know what Sei is, Parallelize, I'm glad I learned how to say that today. And thank you for the alpha. So I like the wording before your last answer. We heard flywheel, we heard tokenless protocol. As we mentioned, it's not financial advice. He didn't say anything definitive. But to me, as someone who's an airdrop hunter, I hear airdrop when I hear that tokenless protocol. So what I like about that is you can go try out some of these projects. They don't have a token yet, so you don't have to jump in and necessarily have exposure yet. But to you guys out there wanting to discover apps on the Sei Network, you can go ahead and play around with these tokenless protocols. Potentially, who knows, build up wallet history to be able to get an airdrop sometime, and hopefully we see like a cascade, or like he said, a flywheel of value accruing for some of these early members. So that's one thing to note there. But beyond that, I have no more questions. I appreciate the alpha though, and thinking deep on Sei now.
I just wanted to say, building on what you just said, Josh, good products create good opportunities. Not financial advice, but that's what happens.
Yes, exactly. And one thing I like to see is product first, right? So you see some of these products, they might be usable now and they don't even have a token yet. So they're going product first, deliver value, deliver a good app first, and then comes the token or something like that. So that's always a good sign in my books.
Yeah.
Oh, and any parting words? Anything you want to shill? Follow you on X? Anything? Top 5 movies?
Yeah, I think first I gotta give
places in New York.
Yeah, Series. If you haven't been to Series, it's a new pizza shop that opened up. It's unreal.
New Yorkers love talking about pizza shops. That's why I said it.
Yeah, no, it's really
and
good.
bagels.
I think it's like Michelin star chef. chefs that like started a pizza shop, and it's like, yeah, it's really good. But no, I gotta give my flowers to you guys for having me on. This is really good. I think outside of that, the ball is just rolling down the hill now. USDC just went live on Sei yesterday, so I think this is a huge pain point that we've been dealing with at Sei, is just easy flows coming into some of these consumer apps, gaming, especially DeFi. So it's great to see that. And then some of the stablecoin, some of the stablecoins that have been built out on Sei are going to just tremendously benefit from this. And I think the one piece of the one departing word I will give is that I think stablecoins will be a great avenue of success on Sei. Yeah.
Stablecoins are huge.
Yeah,
Stablecoins
biggest
are huge.
opportunity in I guess finance right now.
Yeah, and you talk about T-bills and things like that as well. Okay, last quick question. Is there any established or lead GambleFi protocols on Sei yet? Like sort of like a Rollbit type of thing or a Dexport, or not quite established yet? Just wondering.
It is in the pipeline. There's a few early inning ones, but yeah, Rollbit as a someone who has used Rollbit and just kind of like this arena, I think it's needed. Bringing Rollbit fully on chain would be awesome. Yeah, it's in the pipeline. Have actually a great team building this out right now. So soon, yeah.
It's like,
Fire.
Okay, things are happening, but can't say anything.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. Some great alpha for you guys that are watching. Keep an eye on Sei. Lots of great new apps in the works, and it seems they have great support and things like that. So definitely keeping my eye out for that one. All right, that's all I got, Dan.
Awesome. Owen, we appreciate your time. Thanks for sharing everything about Sei. We'll keep you posted on this. We're going to post this on Spotify and have a recap and clips. So for anyone that didn't watch the whole thing, look forward to that. All right, thanks for your time, and we're out. So this
Catch you on the next one, guys.
I'm going to hit end stream, and we're just going to chat a little bit because there's like a 30-second delay. You can talk about the pizza places. What's a Michelin star pizza?
If it's still going, be sure you guys like and subscribe so that we can get this alpha out to as many people as possible. I just wanted to throw that in there since we hadn't mentioned that.
Give Dan a follow. Give Josh a follow. Yeah.
Now we go for 30 more seconds because I want to keep that in.
yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, the pizza here in like New York is it's like wine in Italy or something. Like
it's a culture. It's a strong part of the culture.